Finally tonight, something you may want to sleep on. A West German researcher says watching television from bed is beneficial to your health. It relieves the spine, it spares the disc, it relaxes the neck. The downside is that viewing of dramatic programs frequently makes people dream about those programs they've seen. And researchers also have found that women frequently dream about the last man they see on television. So, pleasant dreams. Good night, neighbors.
We interrupt our program at the request of the White House. This is the emergency broadcast system. All normal broadcasting has been discontinued during this emergency. This is station WGN Television. This station will continue to broadcast, furnishing news, official information, and instruction as soon as possible for the Northeast section of Illinois. If you are not in the Northeast section of Illinois, tune to a station furnishing information for your area. I repeat, we interrupt our program at the request of the White House. This is the emergency broadcast system. All normal broadcasting has been discontinued during the emergency. This station will continue to broadcast, furnishing news, official information, and instructions as soon as possible for the Northeast section of Illinois. If you are not in the Northeast section of Illinois, tune to a station furnishing information for your area. Do not use your telephone. The telephone lines should be kept open for official use. The emergency broadcast system has been activated to keep you informed. To repeat, this is station WGN Television. This station will broadcast news, official information, and instruction for the Northeast section of Illinois. If you are in the Northeast section of Illinois, keep tuned to the station for further emergency information. It is important that you listen carefully to announcements only on the station broadcasting information for your area.
stood on a cold, dark night and gazed at a cloudy haze. The moon, the stars refused their light, no twinkle to brighten the way. I had a dream the other night, and this is what I did see. The darkest cloud I ever saw was drifting between you and me. I cried, I called your name, but never one answer you gave. And when the storm had passed us by, another has stole you away. When I awoke, I saw the light. And now, dear, I know that we're through.
The instrument which is more and more at the cutting edge of the arms race is the computer, as it is applied to making more and more sophisticated calculations and making weapons more accurate.
With what we know about artificial intelligence techniques today and the electronic technology that we have, we believe that we could create weapons that could strike targets within a meter or so of a precisely defined location at intercontinental ranges.
The thought of creating a weapon system so autonomous, so out of the control of human ingenuity and inventiveness and responsiveness is something that I think is totally ludicrous.
The battlefield of today is as dependent on the computer as yesterday's was on the sword and shield. Computers plan battles, keep aircraft aloft, fire weapons, and guide missiles to their targets. Nuclear weapons controlled by sophisticated computer systems have become faster and more accurate. We have less time to respond if attacked, less time to decide if a warning of an attack is real.
Flight times for various strategic systems are getting smaller. It first took several hours when we had bombers as the only means of delivery. Then when you had missiles, ICBMs, which went from our territory to their territory or theirs to ours, take half an hour. Now you put missiles into submarines. or you put missiles into Europe. And now you're talking about missiles that could hit the United States in as little as 5 or 10 minutes. People can't operate that fast. The only thing that you can do there is to put computers in the loop. And computers can process lots of things very fast, but it has to anticipate all the contingencies. And anticipating all the contingencies, as any programmer knows, is a very hard thing to do.
In the next half hour, we will explore the issue of computer reliability and nuclear war. We begin by asking if computers are always reliable, and whether almost always is good enough. Then we look at our computerized national defenses, examine how malfunctions escalate international crises, and consider the Strategic Defense Initiative, Star Wars, whose proponents claim could someday defend against even the swiftest nuclear attack. Banks, the phone company, Social Security, and the IRS all require large computer systems. We know that these systems usually work well. One such system, the airline reservation network, has been refined through 2 decades of trial and error.
Miss Denning, one way to Perth?
That's right.
I don't show you on the manifest of this evening.
Excuse you, my reservation doesn't show on the computer.
Not at all, Miss Denning.
Tracy, you're all set. I just appreciate you if you run on board 24C is your seat number gate 6. Have
Great, thanks a lot.
Flight. Thanks for flying with us today. Hello, how are you today?
I'm okay.
You have a standby to Perth?
That's right.
Well, my computer is showing all seats full.
Computers can fail in several different ways. Hardware errors are evident when part of the machine breaks down. Software errors occur because the computer is given the wrong instructions. Design errors are discovered when the system encounters a situation it was never designed to handle. Even computers that seem to work may not be free of errors. A crippling error may emerge only after prolonged use. Field testing of the Aegis Naval Air Defense took place in 1983. Missiles were fired into its defense zone.
In this first set of operational tests, the Aegis system was faced with a number of targets, not all of them at once. A total of 16 targets. It missed 6 of them. Due to system errors that were later traced to faulty software. Now, this is a very common way of debugging large computer programs. You test them in operational use against real targets rather than a computer simulation of these things under real operating conditions. And you say, oh, I missed that target, how come?
One of our most critical military systems warns North America of nuclear attack. In 1958, we first put modern computers to work in defense against nuclear attack. The SAGE system was designed to detect approaching bombers.
I entered the computer field just as the SAGE system was being put together. That was the first experiment at building a defense system which was largely controlled using modern-day computers. Each section had a separate button that shut off the power on the entire machine. But one night, one of the janitors in the building who was sweeping the floor managed to bring down the entire system with his broom handle just simply by inadvertently banging that button.
SAGE, designed to detect bombers, was ineffective against the fast, long-range missiles of the 60s. Better radars and better computers had to be built to track these missiles. In October of 1960, our warning system reported a massive Soviet launch. The system sounded a full-scale alarm. In fact, not one missile had left the ground. Our computerized defenses had been triggered by the rising moon. The system had not been programmed to ignore radar echoes bouncing off the moon. Until the day of the alert, no one had thought of that possibility. Today, our missile warning system recognizes the moon. Sophisticated satellites and radars send data to computers deep under Cheyenne Mountain in Colorado. This is NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command. Here, officers analyze information to decide whether an alarm is valid. But some are concerned that NORAD's computers cannot handle the scope of a modern attack.
For example, the 5 main computers in NORAD are Honeywell 6000 machines, which were designed in the 1960s as business data processing machines. They weren't even designed for military use or for processing signals as they come in.
NORAD's computers are being upgraded, but slowly. Despite improvements, NORAD's commanders must still judge whether or not an alarm is real. If they aren't certain, they order a higher state of alert. Senior commanders, including the Joint Chiefs of Staff, have to be brought together to confirm or dismiss the alarm. In an attempt to guarantee the survival of our nuclear forces, SAC, the Strategic Air Command, readies its crews.
It's fair to say that the early warning system routinely generates false alarms, alarms which are reacted to in serious ways by the forces. In the case of launch control officers within the Minuteman complexes, this alert normally will involve removal of keys and insertion of those keys into launch switches, the locking in of chairs and strapping in with seat belts of the crew members to brace themselves for the possibility of an impending shock wave from a nuclear explosion in the vicinity.
The short fuse of modern warfare has led to President Reagan's proposed Strategic Defense Initiative, or Star Wars. An armed early warning system, it would respond instantly to attack, intercepting missiles in space.
Lieutenant General James A. Abramson had to give up a tough job to take this one over. He was running the Space Shuttle program before President Reagan asked him to take over SDI. His official title is Director for the Strategic Defense Initiative Organization at the Department of Defense. And this makes him responsible for the nation's research and technology programs relating to defense against ballistic missiles.
We call it the Strategic Defense Initiative. And of course, that goes back to the President's speech of March 1983.
This proposed anti-ballistic missile system would react immediately, virtually at the moment of launch.
Because if you can destroy a ballistic missile then, while it's standing on a tail of fire that you can see from space, while it still has all 10 or more of its warheads and hasn't deployed all of those, you're doing it the sensible, logical way.
Later in flight, the lethal warheads separate from the main rocket. During a full-scale attack, thousands of missiles would release tens of thousands of warheads, and perhaps hundreds of thousands of fake warheads as decoys.
The real question is not whether you can hit a bullet with a bullet, it's whether you can stop a shotgun blast with a shotgun blast. We can build the individual gadgets that would be required for intercepting an individual warhead, but the real question is whether you can tie them together in a system that would be capable of intercepting tens of thousands of warheads, as well as dealing with all of the different types of countermeasures that the Soviets would deploy to reduce the effectiveness of the defense. The system-level question is the computer software that's going to tie all those gadgets together, and clearly the computers are the important part of the question.
Computers would track missiles and warheads, activate defenses, and respond to countermeasures such as decoys. The decision to fire would be made at unprecedented speed, perhaps automatically.
An interval of 90 seconds leaves almost no time for meaningful human intervention. An officer might be able to press a button saying yes or no, but one couldn't evaluate the data, look closely at the behavior of the computer and decide whether it was working or not in a reasonable way, nor could you call in the president or senior officials in that length of time.
The reliability of the SDI control system is crucial. Writing the software will be a phenomenal task. A program for a typical word processor is 10,000 lines long. The space shuttle requires hundreds of thousands of lines of code. But the designers of the strategic defense system may need to write and test many millions of lines of code. Many computer experts question whether a computer program so large and so complex could ever be trusted. In late 1985, members of the SDI organization's panel on computing faced some of their critics in public for the first time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to what we all hope will be a stimulating panel discussion. We are here to answer a very simply phrased question. Star Wars. Can the computing requirements be met?
If we cannot persuade ourselves that such a system will work reliably, it certainly is not of any use, and it will certainly not persuade any opposition that it is to be depended upon.
When asked how such a complex system could be tested, Professor Seitz responded that the system could be built out of many independent parts. Each component could be tested separately to ensure reliability.
The answer is, of course, that if these parts of these groups are reasonably independent from one another, and you measure the effectiveness of one by something closely resembling an operational test, except that you don't set off any nukes or anything like that, then you have some good ability to infer the performance of the whole system.
Professor David Parnas resigned from the SDI panel, believing that the software could never be trusted.
I don't want perfection. I just want a level of confidence comparable to that you feel when you go out in the morning to start your car, and you expect it to start. Now suppose that somebody came to you and said, we'll give you a new car. We just designed it. No car like this has ever been built before. Okay? We've tested the tires before we put them on the wheels. They held air then. We've tested the steering wheel to make sure it's round. We've tested all the components. Now we've put it together. Okay? And you've got to depend on this. It's never been driven. Are you going to give your old car away? Well, with software, it's much worse than with cars. I could imagine doing it with a car. With software, I wouldn't even begin to try.
Since it can't be readily tested in a real attack, critics believe that if it is ever used, the SDI may be defeated by something its designers never planned for. Supporters of the SDI state that the system could be adequately tested by simulating every imaginable missile attack and countermeasure. Critics and proponents agree that the SDI software would contain errors. But opponents claim that SDI could function in spite of these errors.
You hear quite often about the need, the requirement for so many millions of lines of error-free code. No, it's not error-free code, it's fault-tolerant code. And if another million lines has to be written to ensure fault tolerance, then so be it.
Another SDIO officer made a statement that there could be 100,000 errors in the program and it would still work. Well, that's another one of those things that's really true. If you were very careful in picking your 100,000 errors, you might be able to get 100,000 errors that don't matter. But it's misleading because there could be a single error, such as the one that ruined Venus probe.
Due to a single error in its software, the Mariner 1 Venus probe was destroyed shortly after launch. What happens if a highly automatic system such as SDI doesn't work as planned? Will it buy us time to defuse crises in moments of international tension? Most proponents concede that the SDI's main function would be to help protect U.S. military sites, leaving civilian populations vulnerable. Would SDI's automated system move us beyond the dangers of nuclear war, or would it aggravate possible conflict? As with the early warning system, an SDI system will be subject to false alarms.
If there were a breakdown somewhere in a system like this, so a laser goes off and strikes somewhere in the air and doesn't do anything, how much power does one of these lasers have? It could be a very potent weapon against a booster, but it is not like the movies and it doesn't blow up planets and battle stars or anything like that. Even if one of these lasers went through and struck the surface of the Earth, it's an accident if it would hurt anybody.
Some people would maintain that accidentally activating the Star Wars system would just create a snap, crackle, and pop in space and not much more would happen. I think that the accidental activation of the system, particularly during a time of crisis, might lead to other responses. For example, on the American side, it would be taken as one confirmation that an attack was underway. It would be like another kind of false alarm.
Under the circumstances of Star Wars, where the systems would have only a matter of seconds to do their job, and where the possibility of an attack on one Star Wars system by another at the speed of light would mean that warning times would be measured in microseconds. Under those circumstances, of course, human interaction is impossible. The computers would have to be programmed so that they would make the final decision on war and peace.
When a neutron strikes,
為離境嘅乘客提供服務。
You're watching Sleepcore. Pleasant dreams.
Not very long ago, America introduced Pepsi to the Soviet Union. And while it may be just a coincidence, a lot of refreshing changes have taken place ever since. A generation ahead.
Добро пожаловать в гости к фирме «Макдональдс». Здесь родился знаменитый сэндвич «Биг Мак». В более чем 11 тысячах ресторанов быстрого обслуживания в 51 стране «Макдональдс» использует только высококачественные ингредиенты. Первый «Макдональдс» в Советском Союзе откроется в Москве 31 января. Вы приедете к нам и увидите, почему «Макдональдс» так известна во всем мире. Вы для нас будете самыми дорогими гостями.
There's still magic to be found out there, the magic of moments and times to share. Sweet dreams are coming true, and there's no difference between me and you. It's food, folks, and fun. Food, folks, and fun. You know the one, McDonald's, for food, folks, and fun. A simple smile, a friendly face, a golden glow lights up the place. Look around, there's magic you can feel. In a world that keeps changing, there's still magic out there. You know the one, McDonald's.
Well, I'm going to just get started because it's 8 and we want to get out of here on time. But I'm going to keep that door open in case somebody shows up. And if they show up in the next 5 or 10 minutes, we'll let them in. And if they show up 10 minutes late, forget it. You're too late. You missed the boat. So we'll just close the door in about 10 minutes. Anybody done one of these before? Yeah? Everybody knows what's going to happen here? Not everybody? Okay. Okay. Well, they call these things focus groups, and it's really a fancy name for just sitting around and talking about it, which is really all we're going to do. No, there are a couple of ground rules attached to that, and I'll cover those in a minute. But the basic idea is that this is public opinion research like Gallup does public opinion research. It just is a very different method than the method that Gallup uses. Instead of talking to people on the phone and asking people if they agree or disagree or approve or disapprove, and reporting out percentages like they do with, let's say, the Clinton healthcare plan. 50% supports it, 40% opposes it. What you do here doesn't really have to do with numbers. What they found out is that there is really a number of ways of researching public opinion and learning about public opinion. And asking people very structured questions and coming up with numbers is good at doing that, but it's not good at other things. And what are some of those other things that they have to invent these discussion sessions for? Well, one of them is to get to people's feelings and to people's emotions. You know, it's one thing to say, I like it or I dislike it. It's another thing to say, why, or what's your reaction, or how do you feel about it? It's just not good at that. The second part that it's not good at is to show people things. And we're going to talk about these initiatives that are on the ballot. And I want you to read one of them, okay? And you can't do that on the phone, okay? So that's why we have these, we bring people in the room and we get people to talk about it. And what we learned when we were doing that was that people start reacting to what other people are saying. So Diane might say something, and Robert might say, well, you know, I hadn't thought about that. That's a good idea. Or I hadn't thought about that. That's a bad idea. And people find, you know, Diane might listen to Robert and say, well, that's interesting. I still disagree with you, but it's interesting. Okay, so right there's already one ground rule. And the ground rule is, you know, listen to each other and react to each other. Don't hold back in commenting on what other people are saying. And if you agree with them, say so. If you disagree with them, say so too. Now, when we talk about politics, you always get people that feel very strongly about it. So you get these, you know, sometimes you get these people that say, by golly, this, that, and the other. And if that happens, then other people start climbing up and saying, oh God, if I say something he disagrees with, he's going to yell at me. I'm just going to sit here and say nothing. Okay? So there are two other rules about that. One is, you know, it's perfectly okay to disagree, but you know, be nice about it. And if you get too loud or too emphatic, I might just say something. You know, hey Diane, chill out here. Okay. No, that really doesn't happen very much, and I'm making a joke about it. It probably won't happen tonight. Although it has happened. Sometimes it happens. What probably is going to happen is that Diane will say something, and Lori will react to it, and Lori will just jump right in the middle. Okay. And just so what I would like you to do is disagree by all means, but let the other person finish, okay, and then tell them you disagree, and listen to what the other people are saying. Okay. The second thing that comes out of that is that in any conversation, if you ever been to a birthday party where 10 of your relatives sit around, you always notice that five of them do most of the talking, and the other 5 just kind of sit there, don't say very much. Okay. Well, as far as I'm concerned, you're on my payroll, and your job is to talk for the next hour and a half. You got to talk. So if you're just being very quiet, you're not saying very much. Every once in a while, I'm going to say, well, Lori, you haven't said anything in a while. What do you think? Okay, so that's just part of your job. Part of my job to make you talk. Part of your job is to talk. Okay. Other than that, we don't have a whole lot of rules or things we got to worry about, other than one other one, and that is that in any conversation, everybody who's been in the room, where there are 8 or 9 or 10 people talking, you know that the conversation is just going to go like this, right? We start with the weather, we talk about the traffic, and then we talk about the football, and then we talk about the ladies' room in the stadium, and then we talk about this, and then we talk about that. Okay, but I want to talk about a very specific issue, okay? And it's a prediction. It's going to happen. Okay, somebody's going to go off on a tangent, and they want to talk about this. And it's perfect. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's my job to kind of say, well, you know, Robert, interesting, but not tonight. Some other time maybe. Okay? So don't feel like I'm jumping on you. It's perfectly normal. It will happen, and it's just part of the routine. You're probably wondering if there's somebody sitting behind that mirror. Yep, there's somebody sitting behind that mirror. My boss is back there. He's taking notes for a report. We're also taping it. We've got a microphone up there. The reason for that is that I can't and listen and think about the next question and take notes fast enough to get a report. So that's why we're putting it on audio tape. Otherwise, you don't have to worry about it. It's a private conversation. Not with the Denver Post. You're not going to hear in the paper tomorrow, Michael last night said, you won't believe what Michael said. So it really, it's a private conversation.
They say it all the time anyhow. So.
They do it anyway. Okay. Why don't you close the door at this point? The subject I want to talk about is...
As we move into this new era, access to information becomes a new kind of wealth. In the past, wealth was money, stuff, goods, land. But as more and more of our employment, as more and more of what counts in the world is in the form of information, whether it's in the financial system, whether it's in think tanks like SRI, whether it's in public policy, doesn't really matter. Information becomes a new kind of wealth. And we'll have the information rich and the information poor. Those who feel comfortable with the technology, those who feel comfortable with abstraction, those who feel comfortable with quantification, and those who don't. And we'll have no's and no-nots, if you will.
We feel strongly that having access to information, such as we and others provide, allows the people to, I don't know whether the word is predict the future, but have a lot better handle on what's going to happen, because the past shapes the future. And we think it's vital for people to have this information so they have a better shot at tomorrow. I don't think the mass of people perceived a need for this kind of information until it was available. It's like somebody said one time, well, why did you do this? How come nobody did it before? And my answer, it's a little facetious, I guess, but my answer is, how come nobody invented the safety pin before they did? Information Access Corporation is a company that indexes cover to cover the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Christian Science Monitor, 700 law journals, and 270 industry-specific magazines such as Agribusiness, Women's Wear Daily, Iron Age, Coal Age, Chemical Week, and the 370 most popularly read magazines, collects all of that information and sends it down the line so that it's online all over the world from Helsinki to Singapore by 8 o'clock tonight. The information gets entered by an indexer who has a master's degree in library science and has probably worked in a library on the reference desk or someplace in the library. So he or she is very familiar on the way people look for information.
You learning anything?
Yes, I enjoy it. Right now I'm learning about redecorating.
It's one of the most enjoyable things that I think I've ever done.
I'm a crossword puzzle fan, and I find lots of unusual words that I can put in.
Is it fun? No.
If you're in business and you use the information and your competitor doesn't, you have an edge. Every year, the use of this information has grown tenfold. It's like a snowball down a hill. Once we've already captured the information and put it in the computer, the other fellow has to go do that. And we've already got 4 years' worth. Some people think we're creating a gold mine for ourselves out of this, and I have to admit that it's very nice. I would describe myself as an entrepreneur and probably even more a professional salesman. And there really isn't anything wrong with being a professional salesman. A lot of people say, well, if there are 4 ladies sitting around a bridge table, so what does your husband do? Well, he's works for the Humane Society. He catches dogs. Oh, that's nice. And the other one is a school teacher. And what does your husband do? Well, he's a professional salesman. Oh, yeah? A lot of people take offense to that. But when you get right down to it, nothing happens till somebody buys or sells something. Nothing really happens in this world till somebody buys or sells something. And it isn't necessarily a commodity. It can be a service or whatever it happens to be. Nothing happens till somebody buys or sells something.
3 months ago, World Communications Industries swooped down into Sugar Falls and laid all this incredible state-of-the-art equipment on us. Cable TV, computers, fiber optics, interactive video discs. And, well, they said we could have it for free as long as we used it, and, well, we told them how we liked it.
How do you like it?
Oh, listen, it's fantastic. I mean, fantastic. You know, it makes work absolutely easy. I mean, I can work here at home. I can wear whatever I want. It's great. Hi, Ellen.
Oh, hi, Mr. Scott.
Well, what's up?
Not too much. Your meeting for tomorrow with Phil has been canceled. He's got to go out of town, so we'll try again for next week.
Oh, that's too bad. How's the little one coming along?
Okay.
Hey, he's really growing.
Or she.
Oh, of course. Well, anything else?
The boss wants to know what you're up to.
Oh, tell him I finished the project for George. Oh, and I got those articles I wanted.
Oh, I could have done that.
Oh, that's okay. Anything else?
No, that's about it.
Well, if anything comes up, let me know.
Sure. Talk to you later.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's a brand new world here. I mean, it's revolutionized the way I live, the way my kids live, the way my wife lives. My dog, I don't know about.
What's your favorite thing to do on it?
Well, I know I sound like a kid here. It's a game called Battle of Britain. It's one of these interactive war games, you know. Sugar Falls has been divided into two camps. The west side of town, they're the Nazis, you know, the Luftwaffe. And the right side of town, they're the RAF, Battle of Britain, you know. And as soon, I usually play the Nazi, but I don't know why, I always get cast as the heavy. But I'll tell you, if you shoot down a plane, you get a free movie, which I think is a pretty good deal. You know, my kid's the champ, city champ. He's better than I am. He really knows how to play these games. He knows computers. He understands computers. And if the terminal's down, you know, he fixes it. I love that phrase, down. We never had that. We used to, my day was when things were broken, you know. But, no, I just to get back to your original question, how do I like it? It's wonderful stuff. Wonderful.
Star performers like this one have endeared themselves to the hearts of baseball fans all over the country. Star performers like this one have endeared themselves to the hearts of Kresge customers all over the country.
Yes, I represent all the Kresge people. People who are doing a good job in their particular Kresge store. I'm also part of the Kresge store team, a happy team that works together to serve its many customers. I call it a team because just as it takes teamwork to win ball games, it takes teamwork to win customers.
You're so right. The Kresge team is a group of fine people, all working together to give customers what they expect from the store. Over the years, people have come to know and appreciate the tradition of all Kresge stores. And that tradition is Kresge friendly service. Kresge's reputation is built on friendly service, and everyone who joins a store team is thoroughly trained to know what it means and how to give it. When your initial training period is over, you will be able to step right in and give the kind of friendly service that'll pay off for your customers, for Kresge, and most of all, for you. Kresge service means many things. It means your department looks its best all day. Your counters are well stocked and have the neat, friendly appeal that you'd expect as a customer. It means that when you're at the checkout counter, you see to it that customers get pleasant, courteous attention, sincere attention that makes them like Kresge's and want to come back again. It means that Kresge's is your store and that you're proud of it and of your job on the team. A kind of pride that shows in your manner, your willingness to do your part, to make your store tops in every respect. You'll find those on your team who've been with Kresge a long time. They like their work because they like working with people. They've found that working with people is one of the most interesting jobs a person can have. Our star performer is such a person. Through working with people, she's developed a personal charm. In fact, she does it with charm. A personal charm built on two fine qualities. She's dependable and she's helpful. Her charm shows through in many ways. For example, she's on the job in plenty of time to get ready to receive her customers. She takes time to say hello to the new girl, to make her feel at home, maybe even make a date for lunch. She always looks her best. She takes pride in her appearance, is neat, well-groomed. Her clothes are well cared for. And she's interested in the whole store. She makes it her business to know about special sales and promotions so she can answer customers' questions intelligently. She takes special pride in the appearance of her section, the part of the store she's responsible for. She thinks of it as her own store, sees what needs to be done, and does it. She's interested in her merchandise, finds out what everything's used for, how it works, so she can help customers by answering their questions. She has a sense of responsibility. She lets the service supervisor know when she leaves her section, so there'll be someone to keep an eye on her customers while she's gone. Yes, she does it with charm. Now, let's talk about her second quality. She's helpful. And being helpful can be so important. For example, she keeps her eyes open for customers who look as though they might need help and answers their questions. Even when she's busy with important jobs in her section, she remembers that customers come first. That's why when she hears the call bell, she knows a customer is asking for help. So she stops what she's doing and answers the bell immediately. This is Kresge friendly service. Of course, if she's busy with another customer, she sees to it that someone else answers the call. She's always glad to help other departments. She remembers it's all her store. When customers ask her about something in another section, she takes a moment to answer their questions pleasantly. For instance,
Yes, we carry infants' wear. It's over there in the corner at counter number.
another way she helps her store team, she makes sure customers are fair to her store. She's on the watch for customers who act suspiciously. She's tactful so as not to offend the customer if she's mistaken. For instance,
I'll get someone to help you. Number 8, please.
as a member of a Kresge team, she knows that she only has to call the department number to get help when she needs it. Just as the team depends on her, she depends on the team. The store manager or assistant manager or the service supervisor is always on call to make sure all customers who need help are getting it, to help in emergencies, to take care of complaints, to answer questions, because all the members of a Kresge store team are interested in helping one another. So you see that it's simply a matter of personal charm, a way of thinking. You're proud of your store, your job, and yourself. It's a way of working, showing that you like people by giving them friendly service, the Kresge way. Yes, you do it with charm. You are dependable, on the job when needed, pleasant, neat. You are helpful, keeping your eyes open for customers who need help and helping them. Knowing what Kresge friendly service means and putting this knowledge to work will make you a star performer, one of the most valuable members of your team at Kresge's.
You're watching Sleepcore. Pleasant dreams.
Doesn't really look as if there's a revolution going on, does there? In fact, everything seems perfectly normal, as if the world has always been like this. But it hasn't. The world our grandparents was born into was a very different place. And yet, it's amazing how quickly people can adapt to change. Now, in this series, we've looked at how computers are going to affect virtually every aspect of our day-to-day lives. Now, should we regard those changes as a threat or an opportunity? What can we really expect from things to come? A microcomputer like this will probably turn out to be just the very early stages in the development of this technology. But even if you put it to work now, it can still offer something very valuable. Computer power at very low cost. Costs far less than it would cost to have a person to do the same job. And unlike people, once you've taught it, it never forgets. It's capable of working infinitely long hours, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You don't have to provide light or heat for it. And in fact, it consumes less power than a 60-watt light bulb. In other words, it's the perfect slave. So how are we going to use this perfect slave? So far, we've suggested that automation and computers will profoundly influence production and service industries. But there's another job which is increasingly important in today's society, the processing of information. And that's where the computer is going to have its most profound impact in the future. Now, it says here, I promise to pay the bearer, on demand, the sum of £1. And it's signed by the chief cashier of the Bank of England. Well, here we are, the Bank of England. Trouble is, if I go in there and demand my £1, the chances are all I'll get is another one of these. The truth of the matter is, money doesn't really exist, or rather, whatever money is, it certainly isn't one of these. All this is information about money. So is a cheque, or a banker's draft, or a letter of credit. They're just information about money, and they're just some of the millions and millions of bits of paper that get shuffled around the City of London every day. If I want to pay my electricity bill, the most convenient place to do it is in the High Street branch. But the Electricity Board have their account at the branch of another bank over 100 miles away. So the question is, how does the Electricity Board get credited with my money? Hello, can I pay my electricity bill? I think that's the right amount.
We'll soon find out.
That's the last we'll see of money. All that leaves here tonight is a piece of paper proving I've paid the correct amount. And what happens next is an extraordinarily complex process taking all of 3 days. Journalist Rex Malik has been following it.
Chris's payment record goes first to the Barclays Bank Clearing Centre in the city. It's just one of the many millions of payments handled daily by the 4 main clearing banks. On an average day, Barclays themselves will handle nearly 5 million items, worth nearly £15,000 million and weighing 10 tons. The paper chase we are following is probably one of the world's most complex, routine, large-volume paper handling operations. Checks go their separate ways to computers, but all other items, such as Chris's payment slip, have to be handled manually. This first sort will separate all the payments Barclays have to make, bank by bank, and then add them up, because what Barclays needs to know is how much it owes to each of the other banks. Nobody in this operation wants to know why any payment is made. or indeed who the payment is to. All the operations that these people here are doing are concerned with speeding the correct information on its way to the correct bank and the correct account. You'll remember that Chris paid his electricity bill at a Barclays local branch, but the electricity board have their bank account at a National Westminster branch. While Barclays have been sorting their pieces of paper, all the other banks have been doing the same thing. And before lunch on the second day, all the paper goes to a central clearing point, where they exchange it with each other. And somewhere in that lot is the record of Chris's payment. It's destined for the National Westminster Bank's clearing centre, not half a mile away, where all the processes will have to be gone through again, but this time in reverse. What came in bulk has eventually to leave here this evening in individual packages, each bound for a particular National Westminster branch. When one looks at a scene like this, one is tempted to ask, surely there must be another way for people to spend their lives. There will have to be, because jobs like this, in which people are just used as a convenient interface between machines, will probably disappear quietly and forever during the 80s. Should we be glad or sorry? In my opinion, we should be glad. People are too precious a resource to waste on mechanical work of this kind, when there are so many tasks waiting to be done, which would be more fulfilling to the individual and of greater worth to society.
You can feel it there inside. When you give it all you've got.